One of the important things which we need to note or which we need to consider is that do we need all the 9 UML diagrams, or probably I'll put it in a different way, that many of the people ask me that basically should we be using all the 9 diagrams in the technical document. Well, definitely it is impractical, to even think about using all the 9 diagrams in a technical document, because that will make your technical design document more complex. All of these diagrams are basically very much situation oriented, or they depend on situations. For instance, if you think that you want to explain a complicated pseudocode, then definitely you need to use the activity diagram. In the same way, if you want to show interaction between objects, then you need to use more of a collaboration diagram. So every one of these diagrams are situation oriented, but there are some diagrams which are compulsory. In the sense, when I say compulsory, if they are there, then definitely, or we can say they are some kind of mandatory diagrams which is needed to complete your technical document. So here's how it is. You basically start with the system requirement first, and to capture the system requirement you use the use case diagram. Now the use case diagram then becomes mandatory, or it becomes compulsory. Now if you say from the use case diagram, which point of view do you want? Do you want more of interaction point of view of objects, or do you want more of a sequence oriented, or you want to show that the sequence of the activity, or you can say the sequence of object interactions? Then choose the sequence diagram. So depending on what you want, you can make a choice between both of this diagram. Most of the time people choose a sequence diagram because they are more clear, and second, they can also cover what a collaboration diagram can cover. The third diagram after sequence diagram, because once you have done your sequence diagrams, you know the interaction between objects, basically the interaction of messages, and the sequence of messages. From that you can basically derive your classes. So the class diagram is, I'll say, rather a compulsory diagram. After that, if you think that in the class diagram there are a lot of complications in terms of to show runtime, one-to-many relationship or many-to-many relationships, then use the object diagrams. If you think no, there are no complication, move ahead. And if you think that there is a complicated pseudocode to be explained, then use the activity diagram. If you think that there are no complicated pseudocode, then use one of the diagrams which you can show your overall logical view, or overall logical as well as the physical view of your technical document. Most of the people from these views choose the deployment diagram, because deployment diagram shows you the hardware view, and you can use the component diagram to show the software view. So probably you can use deployment plus the component diagram to show how the hardware and software basically interact with each other. So if you really ask me, I think every technical design document should have a use case diagram. It should have a class diagram. Okay, it depends. I mean to say, if you want to show a sequence diagram or not, I'll just keep it not compulsory. You should have one deployment diagram. So this is my personal conclusion from this. You need to have a use case diagram, you need to have a class diagram, and you need to have a deployment diagram plus a component diagram showing us the logical view. So at least these diagrams are compulsory, because with this you get a very decent clarity about your technical document. So never say that that you would like to use 9 diagrams, because that would be more of an experimental or a learning project. Then try to think about that, how you can express your technical design in a more better fashion to the end developer or to the end stakeholders in a more simplified manner. I hope that in this video we were able to clear what basically we were able to clear that how basically, or which diagram should be used in what situations, or what are the compulsory diagrams at least which you will need to represent your technical document.